Hello guys, how you doing? Well, we got a lot of people in here today. So what is up? Say hello in the chat if you're in here, and I guess say hello if you're excited that your list is on the lists to be looked at today. Sorry. Sorry. I was trying to get organised, as you do, and my daughter is just under a year old and needed a nappy change. So finally here. What I had done this week, which I thought would be cool, was working on a review checklist. It's not quite finished. I kind of ran out of time last night. Hello Griff Howe, hello Jay, hello Michael, Adam, Robin, Jake. A lot of people, quite a few regulars in here. Pedroig, I guess. Eldar, yeah. Nice. Thank you for joining me today, guys. And yeah, so what I was thinking we would do is, for future lists anyway, like try and break it down so we're really getting a full picture of if the list... Because normally what I do is when I look at the list, I tell you what I would do differently or what I don't like or whatever, but I think this was a suggestion that I got last week from a few different people, actually. So the suggestion was to maybe try and break the list down. So what I was trying to do, this document isn't finished, maybe it'll be finished for next week. Hello Dante, hello Scottishman. Was try and look at the list and see, like, how does it do for objective holding? And probably we'll rate everything like out of 5 or something. How does the list do against hordes, anti-infantry? How does it do against vehicles? How mobile, I guess, are the troops in the list? Specialization was going to be like, do they have too many units that are only good in specific circumstances? Because, I mean, that can weaken a list, right? And then, so, I mean, I guess down here I was in the middle of this, so I had a big comment from someone to look at, so appreciate you dropping me comments on how we can make these reviews better in the future. Hey Jade, welcome to the stream. So yeah, nice. A lot of people in here today. So I actually have had, I think it's 5 or 6 lists. I'm kind of just going to do them in the order they were submitted. So, like, if you want your list looked at next week, then the best chance you have of getting it looked at would be, like, to submit it today or earlier in the week. So I think Dante submitted his yesterday, so I guess he's last in the queue. So if we do not get to Dante's today, based on time, I have about 2 hours today, then we'll look at his list next week. So, yeah, I guess earlier in the week, and if you are new to the channel, or I guess new to the Blood Angels stream, then let me just tell you where you want to go to submit a list. So you want to go over onto the actual page of the channel, and this is the discussion tab you're looking at. So if you want your list reviewed, it's so much easier for me to find it if you just post it in the discussion list. So just go over there and just drop your list. This guy, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name with accents and stuff, but you can see here that, like, here's his list. It's just spat out from Battlescribe, so I can pick it up nice and easy. And if you are new or you are new to the stream, then I would appreciate if you consider subscribing. We put out Blood Angels content on this channel every week, so I guess that's where we are. So while this list or the breakdown is not fully ready, I think what we'll do in the stream is we will we'll try and, like, use these categories to help. What we're trying to say, we're going to use these categories to help decide if the lists are good or not, as well as what we do before, which is just look at basically the raw units in the list. I have actually changed my microphone settings. A few people have said the microphone for the last few weeks has been bad. If anyone leaves me any comments, like, does the sound better today? I'm actually kind of deaf, like in real life. I went for a hearing test to see if I was deaf, and they told me that I wasn't, but, like, I don't hear things very well at all, I feel like. So, if I would like to get the sound quality to be better, I mean, so let me know if the sound quality is better. Yes, do you know what? We could actually start with Leviathan, because normally in the stream, I like to look at some of the changes that are coming up from Games Workshop, and I the two changes that I know about. I was over on Dark Artisan's stream this last night, actually. He was doing a stream. I put his channel down here at the bottom. If you haven't checked out Dark Artisan, he's also a Blood Angels player. I think he's maybe more focused on painting. Or maybe he's got more armies and stuff. But I was over on his stream last night, and he already has the Forge World book. So what I've got from the Forge World book is I actually have the data sheet for the Leviathan. If you just give me 1 second, I'll pull it up. And I guess it's kind of interesting. Let me see if we can find it. Yeah, I've got it. Alright. Save image desktop. Sorry, I was trying to be more organised today, and something always comes up when you're trying to be organised. So Lagmeister's list we're going to look at first. Let me just hit that load in Battlescribe, and meanwhile we'll have a quick look at the new Leviathan stats. So, if anyone's wondering about the Leviathan and what the changes are, and are we going to be running the Leviathan, well, here you go. So, weapon skill and ballistic skill got nerfed. Power level dropped a lot, actually. I feel like the Relic Leviathan was like 19 power before. I don't think I have the data sheet in front of me. But I guess for strategic reserving them, that makes a big difference. Toughness and strength both dropped from 8 to 7. Wounds stayed at 14. Attack stayed at 4. However, now, before when you replaced the shooting weapons with close combat weapons, you lost attacks. Now, for example, the Siege Claw, when you add a Siege Claw, you actually gain an attack. So he goes up to 5 attacks if he's got the Siege Claw. Keeps his 2+ save, but I believe he's lost his 4+ save because Automantic Shielding is the same as the Contemptor Dreadnought in the Space Marine Codex, and that is a 5+ save. So, yeah, he lost one to save, and then the other big changes, I guess, are, so he comes equipped with 2 Gravflux Bombards. The Gravflux doubled the number of shots it has, so it used to have just D3 shots. It now has 2 D3. It used to be strength 9, it's strength 8. I think it used to be -5, and then 2 damage with 5 damage against vehicles. Well, they've changed it to be blast, and against 3+ save, same as like Grav Devastators, it does 3 damage. So the Gravflux Bombard kind of got buffed. Oh, and it went 6 inches. It used to only do 18. That was a big problem with the Gravflux Bombard. So, yeah, interesting. And then finally, after the longest time, the Leviathan can actually replace its heavy flamers with a twin Volkite Cavalier. And that's, so you can have 2 of these. They're heavy 4. They're kind of like the pistol that the new lieutenant got, right? Strength 5, no AP, 2 damage, and then 6s do mortal wounds. So you would get 8 shots with this if you replaced out for the heavy flamer. And then, like I said, the Siege Claw gives you an additional attack, and the Siege Drill has been made crazy good against vehicles. So 2d3 damage, but against a vehicle, it just does a flat 6, and it's -4. I think the explosion has been nerfed as well. I feel like it was a 9-inch explosion before, and it exploded. It definitely exploded on a 5 and 6. So now it just explodes on a 6, and it's just 6 inches. So, but then the points cost. Leviathan went from like 330 points down to 220 points for this loadout. So, yeah, I mean, it is a lot weaker in that its toughness has gone down 1. So, like, strength 4 weapons before needed 6s to wound it, now they need 5s. And the 4+ invulnerable save is gone, so it's now just 5+, but it has gained Duty Eternal, and it has gained Smokescreen. So you can pay 1 CP to make it -1 to hit in ranged. Duty Eternal obviously reduces all damage by 1s on a 14 wound Dreadnought. That's quite significant. Yeah, Jacob, I think the Volkites... The problem that I have with Leviathan, right? Like, I play a Relic Leviathan. I haven't played it for 2 or 3 games now, but at the start of 9th, I was using it an awful lot. Like, every list, the Leviathan was in the list. He was always my MVP. He just went around the battle indiscriminately, killing things. But quite often, like, you would use the Storm Cannon to take out a group of infantry, and then I would be trying to get in range of, like, a vehicle or a character with a claw. Quite often I'd just be in a situation, this was before they increased heavy flamers to 12 inches, so maybe it's better now, but when the heavy flamers were 9 inches, quite often it was just like, right, he's not in range of anything with those heavy flamers, so he can't shoot them. So, I actually think the Volkite Cavalier may be really interesting. And Storm Cannons, again, they were the other big change. So they've gone from 24 inches to 36. They've gone from heavy 10 to heavy 8. And then they've stayed at strength 7, but they've lost 1 in AP. And then Storm Cannons actually cost you 10 more points to put on the Dreadnought. So if you have 2 Storm Cannons, you're 240 points for this Dreadnought. I think that's a big nerf, though. The -2 at 10 shots, -1 at 8 shots. Like, I've had games where the Storm Cannon has just deleted my Sanguinary Guard off the table, right? Because the enemy's been in the Heavy Doctrine, so it's 20 shots at -3. So now it's just going to be 16 shots at -2. It's a big change. How's the Relic Contemptor looking in the new book, Bobnut? The Relic Contemptor has changed significantly. It's gone up in price. It's lost its Feel No Pain, I believe. I do not have the whole book here in front of me, unfortunately. I just have a couple of data sheets that I got from Dark Artisan last night. But I guess like if you want to check out his channel, I guess he has the book already. But you know, the second I get the book, then we'll go over everything. It might actually be better now to run like just a regular Contemptor for 150 points out of the 9th edition book. I mean, I think the Relic Contemptor also lost its 2+ hits. It also lost its 2+ save, and I think it lost a couple of wounds as well. Yes. Alright, let me just catch up with the chat because there's a lot going on there. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening to the Dredeo. But negative 110 points. Yeah, I was going to ask, the Tech Marine can make vehicles +1 BS, right? Because I was thinking about some of the other Forge World tanks. If they've gone down a lot, they might be really strong now. Yeah, I mean, if the Tech Marine can give them +1 to their hit, and then I guess with this Dreadnought, right, the Tech Marine you can take the Warlord trait to make the Tech Marine give them +1 strength, but I think as a Blood Angels player, strength 14 with the +1 from Red Thirst, you're never going to need more than 14 strength with +1 from Red Thirst. You'll wound everything on 2s anyway. So, yeah, the Mortis Dreads are completely gone. Okay. Alright, so let's get in and have a look at some lists, and I wonder, I wanted to start today with Lagmeister. I'm not sure if he's in the chat, but if you are Lagmeister, shout out in the chat, and if you're not, then that's fine as well. Okay, so this is, I guess, like at the moment, most of our lists are coming from the Space Marine Codex, that's correct. And I'm actually going to go back. Like, Battlescribe has been updated. It's not 100% accurate yet, as far as I'm aware. But I'm going to go back to making a list in Battlescribe, and that way we would just talk through it together. So actually, it's been a few weeks since I've used Battlescribe, but that should be fine. So we need an extra relic. That's pretty standard. So, and we start this list with a captain with a jump pack. So, captain with a jump pack. She's got a relic blade. Oh, eye pistol. I'm not sure what eye pistol is. The armor Indomitus seems like a strange choice for the captain, but okay. The relic blade makes sense, right? Like, a lot of people are taking the relic blade and then they're upgrading it to something like the Burning Blade from the Space Marine Codex. I haven't actually done that myself. I guess if this list doesn't have it, then we won't talk about it, but we'll talk about it into the next list. Is it an Infernal Pistol, yeah? I wasn't even aware a captain could take an Infernal Pistol. Okay. And I guess he probably needs to drop his bolt gun. Thank you. Okay, so he's got an Infernal Pistol, he's got the Relic Blade, he's got Rites of War. I really like Rites of War. I hope we get to keep this when like the Blood Angels supplement is released, right? Because like Rites of War is just basically makes everything within 6, I think, of the Warlord obsec, right? Yeah, so like on any sort of like captain / Dante. Well, I guess you can't put it on Dante, right? But any sort of like jump pack captain that you have up front in your army, like I actually put it on a Sanguinary Ancient, and then he runs with Dante and runs with the Sanguinary Guard, and like just changing all those units to OBSEC is a really good way of. What are the stats for the Burning Blade? So one thing I managed to do this week. Hopefully this looks good. I have upgraded my. I've upgraded, so I have a stand now for this other camera. So if we want to find the Burning Blade, yeah, hopefully you guys can read it much easily, and I don't have to hold it and like shake the camera all over the place. So model the Power Sword or Mastercrafted Sword only. Okay, my bad. I thought this was you changed the Relic Blade. This relic replaces the Power Sword, and it's Strength +3, -5, 2 damage. That -5 is ridiculous, by the way. So I don't know. I guess with Assault Doctrine it's -6. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know why it's -5. It could easily be -4. It seems a bit stupid, but okay. I guess some people are running captains with the Burning Blade. I guess you just replace a Power Sword, or you could run it on the like Indomitus Lieutenants. The lieutenant that came with the Storm Shield that kind of runs with the Blade Guard. That might be cool if you really need -5. The captain having the armor Indomitus gives him 1 more wound. It gives him a 2+ save, and once per game he can activate a 3+ invulnerable save. I mean, it seems okay, but I mean, a captain can take a Storm Shield, and then maybe you could use. At that point, if you took the Storm Shield, you've had like a 2+, 4+ save anyway. So maybe there's like better options. Like you could make the Relic Blade do an additional damage with Mastercrafted Weapon. You could take Icon of the Angel. I've actually been playing Icon of the Angel incorrectly. And I didn't realise this changed in 9th edition. I don't know if you guys had realised this either. But in Icon of the Angel, if you read the text on the screen right now, when I've been failing charges with it, I've been re-rolling both dice. That is not what it says. It said that in the last edition, but in 9th edition with Icon of the Angel, it says you can re-roll any of the dice. So if you fail a charge and roll a 6 and a 1, for example, so you roll 7 and you needed 8, then you can just choose to re-roll the 1. And like when you do that, your odds of making that charge are like astronomically more high. I did some maths on this because I was like, when I'm playing the game, I really want to be able to do the math in my head so I know I'm making the right call. And sometimes you guys know that I show you the website Any Dice. I use it all the time, and yeah, I mean we can use it right now. So imagine if you fail a 8-inch charge, for example, and you want to re-roll, right? Of course you want to re-roll because you failed the charge. With Icon of the Angel, if you just want to re-roll 2d6, right? And you need... let me put this here. If you just want to roll 2d6 and you need 8+, right? This is the chance of getting an 8+. So, basically, I'll just round these up so it's quick. So you have a 43% chance of getting an 8+, right? So if you rolled your charge and you got like a 4 and a 1 or a 4 and a 2, it doesn't really matter as long as you got a 4 on one dice, right? You'd only need 4+ if you re-rolled the other dice, right? And like 4+ is a 50% chance. So if you fail a charge with Icon of the Angel and you have a 4 on the table or a 5 or a 6 on one of the dices, if you keep that, then you've just basically, in this case, you've improved your chance of getting that charge 7%. If you had like a 5 on the table, then you've improved your chance like 30% or something. So Icon of the Angel, I didn't really read the new 9th edition, the text for it, but that's something to be super aware of, right? Yeah, I mean, it's best when you roll a 5 or a 6, but you're actually still more percent to make that charge when you roll a 4, which is pretty nuts. So if you roll a 4 and a 1, then just re-roll the 1, and that's a better chance than trying to roll 2 dice again to get an 8. Okay, alright, so saying that, the very next thing he has is a Sanguinary Priest with the Icon of the Angel, so good call, we've got that in there. So, and he's a selfless healer warlord trait. I guess one of these guys is hero of the chapter. I'm not sure. I was in here the other day and not 100% sure if they've got Battle Scribe 100% up. Like, you can't pick hero of the chapter in certain characters yet, so it's fine. I guess one of these guys is the warlord, and one of these guys is the hero of the chapter. And the selfless healer warlord trait is super good right now. I'm loving selfless healer. I'm going to use it in the battle that I've got set up tomorrow. So basically, as selfless healer, every turn you can bring one model back to life, and you can heal 2 different units for 3 damage. So I'm going to run it with a 8-man squad of Terminators, I think, and the Terminators are going to be 4 Thunderhammers, 4 Lightning Claws, big squad so that you can never whittle them all down. Heal 1, res 1, and then heal himself or heal another character or whatever he needs to do. So this is a legit Sanguinary Priest right now. The one issue I have with the Sanguinary Priest is he's really weak, right? He just has like a 3+ save. So I was actually running him with Armor Indomitus. But I feel like the Sanguinary Priest late game is kind of useless, right? Like, he just has a chain sword. Yeah, I mean, the 12-inch charge from Deep Strike is pretty difficult to deal with. I don't really have like an out-and-out strategy for that. Do you know, in one of the games I played, I was running heavy intercessors and using them for Auspex scan. But I mean, like, you're basically deploying and trying to, like, you're trying to leave a spot for them to deep strike into, and it can be like, it can almost be too obvious. I mean, that said, it just really depends on what's coming in and what you can use against it. I don't have that much experience playing as Alpha Legion, but like I mean, you could use your infiltrators to try and screen and then have units ready for countercharging, but it's so situational, right? Like, I don't think there's a single choice that you can just make that's going to win the battle for that. Like, at that point, it's like really tactical. I mean, it's like when I was playing the battle I lost a couple of weeks ago on the channel when I played the Iron Hands guy that had like 2 drop pods full of multi-meltas, Devastators, and they're all in like heavy doctrine. So it's like all these 10 multi-meltas are hitting you. 4 of them are hitting on 2s. 6 of them are hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. I mean, like, it's like, what can you do? You kind of just have to try and take it and have units that will be able to dish back afterwards, or have your guys deployed strategically enough that you can like make them suffer next turn. I mean, there's a big debate on the Facebook groups at the moment about like the Sanguiner, right? Like, a lot of people are saying that. I mean, if I say this, maybe some people in the chat can give their opinion. A lot of people are saying when the Sanguiner arrives as like his heroic intervention from Deep Strike, he can get to attack first. I feel that the way that they've worded this, because they changed the wording slightly, should let him attack first. I haven't done it myself, but I feel like they changed the wording enough that you could justify a case for the Sanguiner to attack first. But it seems like 50-50, right? Like, half the people in the Facebook groups think that he can't attack first. They think the charging units should attack first. And then there's like a special rule from like last edition that they can, charging units always get to attack first. But my question is, if charging units always get to attack first, why did they change the wording on the fight first section, right? Like, there was no need for them to change the wording if he can't attack before charging units. But even then, like, what's he going to do? Like, 8 attacks back and then he's going to die. So it's a hard question to answer. Okay, Assault Intercessors is next in this list. Great, and we have 10 of them. I haven't run a 10-man squad of Assault Intercessors yet, but I feel like they'd be pretty good. I feel like if I was running a 10-man one, I would have at least one power weapon in here or something, like a Power Fist or a Thunderhammer or something, because like you can't always guarantee that they're going to end up running against things that they can kill with chainswords, right? Like, it's always worth to have at least one sort of useful weapon in here, and especially how you can pay 2 CP to have Assault Intercessor's attack fight a second time. So, and then what else is in this list? We have a regular Intercessor squad with 9 guys. It seems a bit random just having 9, but okay. And the captain with I guess that's a power sword. Tactical squad with missile launcher. Wow, I haven't seen a tactical squad with missile launcher in forever. But I mean, with the Space Marines, with them getting 2 wounds now, maybe it's okay. It's probably quite a cheap squad, and didn't change anything with missile launcher, right? No, it's just a regular crack missile minus 2d6 damage. Okay. Yeah, I think it should attack first. I guess a few people... Yeah, I think that he would get to attack first. So, I mean, maybe you could have the Sanguiner in reserve against, like, someone that you know is going to charge in. And you... I mean, I haven't actually played the Sanguiner yet in 9th edition. Let me have a look. Where is he? So I guess if he's heroically intervening, he would have 6 attacks. So, I mean, I guess he'd be able to kill a few things, right? He'd probably hit like 5 times. He's strength 6 plus 1 to wound, minus 4, 2 damage. Oh, and he gets mortal wounds on 6s. Alright. So, I mean, like, you could probably do... And minus 4, not that many things are saving. So, you could probably kill like 2 or 3 of the charging units from reserve. So, it might be a small deterrent, but... the Sanguiner has this new ability called Miraculous Savior. Let me zoom this in. At the end of the heroic intervention step of your opponent's charge phase, if this model has not yet been set up in the battlefield, if any enemy units finished a charge move within engagement range, you set up this model within engagement range of those enemy units. This model counts as having performed a heroic intervention in the turn it uses his ability. So basically, he heroically intervenes to any charge that the enemy made against you in that turn. And I think our trait is in the Space Marine Codex, isn't it? 1 second, I'll get it up. No. I've been through this codex like a million times and I still always end up going back and forward. At some point I wish they would, like, I almost want it to be like alphabeticalized, because I feel like I'd be able to find things if it was... I don't know. Actually, maybe the Warlord trait isn't in there. Where was the Warlord trait? Was it in here? The Speed of the Primarch, right? No. I don't remember where Speed of the Primarch is. No. It must be in the... It must be in the Codex. Bonus points if someone says to me here... Did I pass it? Did I? Was it on the... It wasn't on the page with all the other Warlord traits. It might have been actually. I'm flipping too fast. Warlord traits. Yes, sorry. I thought it was on one of the page where it showed like the Blood Angels logo, right? Let me see if I can move this so you can see it. So up here, at the start of the fight phase, if this Warlord is in engagement range of any enemy units, it can fight first that phase. Like, I don't think that needs to be any clearer, right? Like, it can fight first. To me, that just says it fights in front of every other unit. And they definitely changed the wording on that. Let me see, I have the 8th edition book here as well. Let me see if I can find the wording change, because it seems like everybody is debating this over... There's a few things that everybody's debating. This is one of them. And the other thing that everybody's debating is every single day people are asking if the new Assault Doctrine rules for like priests give them the extra attack. That my answer to that is you don't get the extra attack from the priests. You just get the extra AP. And yeah, so see how this is much longer. You can always choose your warlord to fight first in the fight phase, even if you didn't charge. If the enemy has units that have charge or similar ability, then alternate choosing units to fight, starting with the players whose turn is taking place. Right? They cut that whole bit. If the enemy has units that have charge or a similar ability, then choose units to fight, starting with the player whose turn it is. Why would they cut all that text out about choosing whose turn it was if the rule hadn't changed, right? Like, there's no reason for them to cut that text. So, I feel like, oh, hey, Dark Heart-san, thanks for joining in today. Really enjoyed your stream last night, by the way. I did give you a shout out and told these guys that you are in the front of my YouTube channel now, and if they want to see more Blood Angel stuff, they need to follow you as well. So, yeah, look, you're down here. Cool. Okay, sorry, need to get back to this list. Right, so, next thing in this list, 2 9-man Sanguinary Guards, 2 Fists, 3 Axes, 4 Swords, an Infernal Pistol, and another Sanguinary Guard, 2 Fists, 2 Axes, 5 Swords. Okay. Yeah, do you know, like, the main problem I have with Sanguinary Guard is their lack of invulnerable save. I'd really, really, really hoped that they were going to go up to 3 wounds with the new codex, right? Like, I would have loved it. Oh, that's not Sanguinary Guard. I would have loved it if they did go up to 3 wounds. The -1 in close combat is okay, but I think the wounds would have been stronger. I'm struggling a little bit with Sanguinary Guard in that, like, I always used to run them with the banner. What was that called? The Standard of Sacrifice, and without it, like, they drop a little bit quicker than I would like. As far as these 2 squads go, like, having 2 Fists, 3 Axes, I like that. Like, I like having a couple of Fists in, and I actually like having a couple of Infernal Pistols in as well. Just, like, Infernal Pistols now, doing a potential 8 damage in close combat, or within 3 inches, is pretty nuts, right? Like, personally, like, when you're going to charge someone with a Blood Angel, if you have a jump pack anyway, you're going to jump as close as you can, right? Like, most of the time in the battle, maybe the first charge is like a long range charge, like an 8-inch charge or something, like from Deep Strike, but after that, usually, I want to say 50% of the time after that, your charges get much smaller, right? Like, probably every game you end up doing like a 1 or 2-inch charge, right? Like, you could roll. I've had times actually where I rolled the double 1 and I had the +1 from Red Thirst and I still make the charge, right? So at that point, that's when Infernal Pistols for 5 points are like crazy good. Like, I was looking this week at Death Company for my own list, and I put in 6 Death Company into Land Raider was one of my options because I had like just enough points to do that. And I was like, I had 5 points left over, and I was like, right, so I need to see if I can get like a Power Fist or a Thunderhammer or something with that Death Company, because like I said, I always like having something in the army that just do a bit more damage. So like those 6 Death Company can run in and take out a squad of infantry easy enough. But let's say there's a tank there as well, and the next turn I get engaged on the tank, or is there a character or something. So it's like, I want to have something in the list that can still do a bit of punch, even if like, you know, like that's my problem with a squad of 9 or 10 assault interceptors, right? Like, if they get in combat with something big, then they can't kill it quickly or they can't kill it efficiently, right? You need like one strong weapon in there. So, with my Death Company, I actually, with 5 points, what I can actually do is throw in an Infernal Pistol. So I was like, right, that's what I'll do, you know, like, so it's likely the Death Company will survive round, you know, like, so you have your combat phase. The enemy is their turn, they have their combat phase. As long as you keep that one guy with Infernal Pistol alive, then it's your turn. Fire your Infernal Pistol, potentially 8 damage. I mean, it's huge, right? Like, and I think Infernal Pistols are -4. So if it is turn 3, then it's -5, right? So, yeah. Okay. Sorry, lots to go on in the chat. Why do you pick Axes on Sanguinary Guard and only take them if it's up against Custodes? Why would I pick Axes? Axes are really strong now, man. Do I have the Sanguinary Guard datasheet? I think I have it here. I've got them, a bunch of them printed. Oh, I've got it in another tab, sorry. Sanctuary Guard. So, axes are now strength 6. -2, 2 damage. And remember, we get +1 with Red Thirst, so like, against pretty much all infantry, including like Gravis infantry, you're going to be wounding on 2s. Against like war suits, you're going to be wounding on 3s. And you don't have to take the -1 to hit from axes. So if you are near like your warlord, then you're hitting on 2s. And I mean like, this list doesn't have Dante in it, but like I'm running Dante now. So if you have like Chapter Master buff on the Sanguinary Guard, like if you have I don't know, 3 or 4 axes, like I think my Sanguinary Guard has 4 axes. So you got 4 axes. So you basically get like, on the charge, you're talking 16 attacks, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, and then yeah, I mean like against like I think I ran up against a Primaris Tech Marine and just deleted him with like 1 Sanguinary Guard. It wasn't even difficult. It was just like, yeah, you're gone. 8 damage or something like. I think axes are good. I mean, I think the swords are good as well now. I mean, I think the Red Thirst rule is just so strong, right? Like, once we get into combat, that rule always helps me win games. And, yeah. The Blood Chalice ability doesn't give you an additional attack, Acreal. Like, loads of people are asking. That's the other thing that's getting debated like heavily on the forums right now, right? Like, does the Blood Chalice give you another attack? My answer to that, I think, is no. I can't spell chalice. Because it says, until the start of your next command phase... No, where was it here? It says, like, when the unit makes an attack, the Salt Doctrine is considered to be active for that attack instead, right? Like, you've already made your charge, and it's the charging part that gives you the +1 attack. So the Assault Doctrine wasn't active while you were charged, so you do not get +1 attack from this. All you get is the bonus to AP, which is actually kind of shitty because, like, most of our weapons are kind of high AP anyway, so it's not as big a deal. It would be the +1 attack, I think, would have been much stronger, but I think that's just the way that they've done it. So you can get an additional -1 to all your weapons. I mean, I guess if you're running like a Death Company, like if you drop in a drop pod with 9 Death Company and Corbolo in turn 1 or something, right? Like, actually, it wouldn't even work, right? Because this is, you have to pick this in your command phase. Alright, so this doesn't even really work with like drop pods or deep strikers anyway. So the fact that you have to do this in command phase, I just realised, like, I haven't. The Dante's one being in the command phase as well, like, I don't like that, because if you want to drop Dante in, you can't get his buff until the following turn. It's kind of annoying. I feel like, you know, like, it should almost be in a later phase, but I mean, I guess I don't know. We didn't get Chapter Master buff before, right? So, or they've changed it slightly. So, I only focus on Blood Angels. So that's annoying anyway. All right, so this list. The Sanguinary Ancient with the Wrath of Baal to give you the +2 movement phase. I mean, I guess that's the best choice we have right now. The Wrath of Baal gives 2 inches to jump pack troops, right? When we get Standard of Sacrifice back, or if we get a new medic ability that matches a Standard of Sacrifice, that will be better. We then have a big squad of Vanguard veterans, 8 of them. I quite like a big squad of these guys, because if you give them shields, they're super strong and they're tough to take down. So you've got jump packs, you've got shields, 1 Thunderhammer, 1 Power Fist, 1 Lightning Claw, 1 Axe, 1 Power Sword. You're making this a nightmare. Like, you're going to have to, when you fight with this unit in combat, you're going to have to separate your dice. It's going to be a nightmare. But I mean, that's fair enough. Lightning Claws are super strong right now. I definitely want some Power Fists in your Vanguard veteran, and then, yeah, I mean, an axe and a sword. I have no complaints about that. I'd probably just take another power, just take a bunch of chain swords, Power Fists, maybe some Lightning Claws. That's all you need. It's worth noting that Vanguard veterans get Melta-Bombs still, and that's pretty strong. Use it on a chainsword model for 1 CP, and you can do up to 6 mortal wounds against vehicles. Kind of sad that you can't use them on monsters, but that is it is what it is. Yeah, and I don't. You're right, Smithel. Don't take Dante as your warlord. There's much better choices at the moment. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's so stupid that his rule doesn't work with Jump Pack Assault Highland. What can you do, though, I guess? And then Adam. I have to agree with Pedrog and Highland. -2 -2 AP is usually good enough, right? I think I would rather have the -2 from the axes than the -3 from the swords, just because there's just so much more stuff you're going to wound on 2s, right? Like, even like, I don't know, like, especially, I play against a lot of guys that use Gravix armor, what are they called? Like, Eradicators and Aggressors, and I guess the new Heavy Intercessors. Being able to wound them on 2s is pretty good, right? Yeah, I know, Dante, not my friend Kev, who I'm fighting tomorrow, he plays Eldar, and when he saw my list, he was like, Dante isn't your warlord, that isn't very fluffy. And I was like, yeah, but this fucking warlord trait sucks, Kev. Rights of War is, like, how... I would have really liked it if we could have had Rights of War, something like that. And I think there's another one that I really like the look of at the moment. I think it's... Champion of Humanity, that gives you like bonus to your chance to hit and chance to wound. I don't know if that would stack with the Red Thirst. I feel like it wouldn't, but it's not explicitly called out. Hey Red Blade, welcome. Haven't seen you in a little while. A Redemptor Dreadnought with heavy Gatling Cannon, heavy Flamer, Storm Bolter. I guess that's 2 Storm Bolters. Yeah, I mean Redemptor. Someone was speaking about this last night. We were saying, or maybe it was the Goonhammer thing I read. They were saying like it's a Redemptor Dreadnought that much weaker than a Leviathan now, and because he's only -1 wound on a Leviathan, right? And he does, I guess, his strength and toughness are the same now, and his claw was D6. They've changed his claw. It's now D3 plus 3, so 4 to 6 damage. So his claw is actually better than the Siege Claw on the Leviathan. I guess the only big difference is, and he has Duty Eternal as well. Does he have Core? Yes, actually, he has Core. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a trade-off then, right? Like, the Redemptor Dreadnought is, 45 points cheaper than the Leviathan? He has the Core keyword. The only difference is Leviathan has a 2+, 5+ save, and he has just his 3+ save. So I guess you have to balance that. But like for me personally, like I think invulnerable saves are really important. I suppose it depends on the meta that you play in. And there is ways to get the Redemptor an invulnerable save. Like back in 8th edition or back when we had our Codex, you could cast Shield of Sanguinius on him if you just wanted him to be charging into the front. So maybe we get Shield back, I guess we'll see. And then heavy support, Baal Predator with twin assault cannons, 2 heavy bolters and a storm bolter. Do you know what? I guess good for you, Lagmeister, running a Baal Predator. I have had 2 Baal Predators for about 15 years and I do not remember the last time I ran a Baal Predator. I just don't think they're that good. He put some comments down here. So, interesting list, right? If you guys are going to submit me a list, I said this last week, if you would put like 2 sentences at the bottom about like how you're going to play the list, like like we're going to deep strike we're going to deep strike all the Sanguinary Guard with the priest, or etc., because that helps me envisage like on the battlefield like what you're trying to do with this list. So I guess if we maybe for the moment then we'll just quickly go through where is my document? Balls. I guess I closed it. 1 second. So, Blood Angels list review checklist. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, so how does it do on OBSEC, I guess? We're just going to do this very quickly, and in the future maybe I'll try and make this section a bit better and easier to score. So how does it do in OBSEC? I mean, you've got 9 intercessors. I mean, they can hold an objective. Tactical squad potentially can hold an objective. They're not going to be very tanky, and assault intercessors, they're wasted if they're holding an objective, right? These guys are pushing across the board. Maybe your Redemptor can stay back and hold, or your Baal Predator could hold, but I guess but in terms of like raw OBSEC holding, you're probably going to get like, do you know what, let me just put it here. So like maybe the score for that is going to be like 3. Anti-infantry horde effectiveness, well, Redemptor with the heavy Gatling cannon, Baal Predator with assault cannon. I guess assault intercessors would make quick work of hordes as well. So maybe like that's like let's just say it's a 4. I am going to see if we can define this section a lot better. Anti-vehicle. I mean, the Sanguinary Guard with the fists, and I guess like we just talked about, the axes could take out some vehicles. Your Vanguard veterans with their Thunderhammer, Melta-Bombs could take out some vehicles. The Captain could take out some vehicles, but overall I don't think it's particularly strong against vehicles. Like, you have to get up close to them. If they're screened well, they could be protected, so I'd say like maybe like 3. Mobility, this list has no problem with mobility. I guess like you've got, what's this, like 1,000 points of guys in jump packs, so I guess mobility is fairly high. And then specialization in this list is kind of low. There isn't like a load of like niche characters or anything like that, so I guess specialization probably be something like a 3. So yeah, I mean, I guess if the best score is 25, then I guess this is like an 18. I mean, you guys, what might be cool is in the next minute, everybody put the score that they would give this list in chat, and then I'll quickly average you guys' score underneath. So out of 25, what score do you guys give this list? Let me have a look at the chat. Yeah, Highland's right. You could use Psychic Fortress with the Librarian to protect, like a Redemptor Dreadnought. At that point, is the Leviathan worth it? It's gonna be hard to see. I think a Leviathan could be worth it as, like, we always used to talk about like a distraction Carnifex, right? Like, you're just gonna run into the enemy with this Leviathan, maybe with a claw. He's still going to be able to do a decent amount of damage with a good roll. But I guess Redemptor Dreadnoughts, it's going to be interesting. And then yeah, I mean, if Dante ever gets to become Primaris, then maybe he can get the Supreme Commander chat. Welcome back, Dark Artisan. Are you painting tonight, Dark? Because if you are, maybe I'll see if I have time to check in. Okay. Yeah, I mean, a Razorback does seem more interesting than a Baal Predator. I was really hoping for some buffs on the Baal Predator in 9th edition. Like, I know they maybe, like, I think they changed the Flamestorm cannon to have like 6 more inches or something, but like, it just doesn't seem solid. Alright, so cool. Pedrog thinks this list is a 20. If no one else has an opinion on the score of this list, then we shall move on. But thank you for submitting it, Lagmeister. Cool. Next one. Do you know what, Pedro? You're in the chat right now, so we can look at your list next. Yeah, they made the Flamestorm 18, but yeah, random 6 auto hits. So Jacob, you're still going to use the Leviathan with, is that with 2 storm cannons? Yeah. And what about the nipple guns then, Jason? Are you going to have the nipple guns as the Volkites, or are you going to keep the heavy flamers? Yeah, I have 2 Baal Predators, and it's like, what a waste of money that was. Like, I think usually what happens is, like, you buy the model, right, and you play with it that one time because you bought it and you're like, I paid the money on this, I should really use it. So you played with it that one time, and it's like you're never. That's it. That's the only time the ball predator ever hit the tabletop. All right, so cool. Two people answered. So viewer average, that makes the maths nice and easy. Is 19 for this list. All right, cool. So let's move on to Pedrog. You've just given this other guy 20 out of 25 Pedrog, so I hope, or Ped, I guess you said your name was. You've got 6 ball predators. Oh, dude, have you ever even used one of them in a battle, or have you used more than one? Yeah, I mean, Ball Predator is good for anti-horde, I guess. But if you were taking the one that I've got built is the twin assault cannon and the heavy bolters, right? Like the flamers are a bit. I hate weapons. If you watch me, you'll know that I hate weapons that have a random number of shots. Okay, next list. Chief Librarian Dreadnought with the Meltagun. I don't think that's... what was this? This was a Vanguard detachment. Shit, I made it as a patrol detachment. How do I change that? It's here, isn't it? Used all of them. Okay. Alright, well at least you got a little bit of use out of them. Alright, so Librarian Dreadnought with the Meltagun. I guess they haven't updated Battle Scribe, so you can't. So they don't show the Chief Librarian stuff. That's sad. I'll show it on screen real quick for anyone that hasn't seen it. Chief Librarian, here we go. So he knows one additional psychic power, and he can attempt to deny one additional psychic power. Okay, so he knows 3 and he denies 2. I mean, once we get our powers back and we actually see what they are, that might be really interesting. You have the Forge Master, Plasma Cutter, and Thunderhammer Warlord. I have no idea what the Forge World, Plasma Cutter, and Thunderhammer is. I'm glad that I did yours now. Ped, you need to tell me what that is. Forge Master Plasma Cutter. Interesting. Oh, is it a Deathwatch character? The Librarian Dreadnought can become Chief Librarian. The wording does support it. I'm not going to... Mark Ad? Is that your name? Mark? Okay, I'll call you Mark. The Chief Librarian... yeah, because on the page before... let me see if I can show you the wording. It says... If your army is battle forged and includes a detachment, blah blah blah, then when you muster your army, you can upgrade any of the following characters. Right? Librarian. And then he definitely has the Librarian keyword, right? Like, it doesn't say anything about him being a vehicle. I mean, I guess it's an edge case, but I do think this is valid, because he has the keyword Librarian. Sure, he also has Librarian Dreadnought, but he's a character and he is the Librarian, so I don't see any reason that you couldn't be able to upgrade him to the Chief Librarian. Oh, right, it's a Tech Marine as Master of the Forge. Okay. Is it a Primaris Tech Marine or is it just a regular Tech Marine? Okay. I'll wait for you to answer that, and then we'll add some of these elites up. So it's a Blood Talon, Heavy Flamer, Furioso. So Blood Talons, Heavy Flamer, Furioso, a dual Melta Furioso. Okay, so you're. Can you take dual Melta on the Furioso? I mean, I guess this is a problem with Battlescribe being all not updated and stuff, and we just have this little this PDF to work from. Furioso, I feel like it's down here. Furioso, this model can replace with 2 models. I don't think you can take 2 Meltaguns, man. Oh, hold on. Double frag cannon we can replace with the Furioso Fist and Meltagun. And he comes with a Meltagun, does he? No, he doesn't. He comes with a Stormbolter. No, I don't think you can take. You can take a Meltagun and Heavy Flamer, but I don't think you can take both. That's what we'll do then. So it's a Furioso with a Meltagun and a Heavy Flamer because they're the same amount of points. Twin Las Dread for 140. I guess that's just a regular Dreadnought with a Twin Las Cannon. And it'll be Power Fist. Did you answer my question? A regular Tech Marine. Okay, so Tech Marine with Master of the Forge. And he's got the ward. The Angel Icon Relic. Angel's Icon Relic. Is that Icon of the Angel supposed to be, I guess? So he's gonna let you. All right, I'm with you. So like this Tech Marine's gonna let you reroll charges, and you're gonna have a shitload of dreadnoughts to charge with. Yeah, okay. So you've right. So you have a Redemptor Dreadnought. With Onslaught Cannon, you have the Twin Chain Fist Contemptor. I didn't even know you could run a Contemptor with Twin Chain Fist. I guess it doesn't think you can. I guess it's going to be a Relic Contemptor with Twin Chain Fist. Yeah, I mean, I guess then you can run a Twin Chain Fist Relic Contemptor. Is that 180 points? Not quite. Okay, and then 2 Deathstorm drop pods. Alright, so we're gonna it seems like a lot of points to drop in some I don't know where Deathstorm drop pods normally come in this, but I mean, like, I know they're more expensive than a regular drop pod. So like 2 drop pods. The Leviathan Dreadnought, I guess if you just wait a week or two, then it's going to drastically have its price cost changed. And this would be the melee one as well. And then, oh right, these are just the Deathstorm ones with the launchers in them, and then these are actually Dreadnought drop pods. I'm with you. I think the Deathstorm drop pods must be Forge World. I'm not 100% sure how to add these. Okay. Hello, Michael. Welcome. Yeah. So what have we actually got then? We have a Tech Marine. We have a Librarian Dreadnought. We have 2 Furioso Dreadnoughts. We have another regular Dreadnought. We have a Redemptor Dreadnought. We have a Contemptor Dreadnought. We have a Leviathan Dreadnought. We have 2 Deathstorm pods. These aren't actually drop pods. These are just pods with missile launchers in them, if I'm correct. Let me just quickly look up Deathstorm drop pods, because they have you said 240 points. Alright, so you can choose. So you can have basically missile launchers in them or cannons. and it shoots it. Oh yeah, they shoot at everything within range, don't they? Except characters. So if there's like 4 squads in range of these guys will do heavy too against each of the squads. I'd like to see a photo of this list, dude. Like, if you actually have a photo of this list, I would love to see it. Someone actually was asking me in my comments this week how to find the email address to send me stuff. What you need to do is you go over to the About page on the channel, and then click View Email Address down here. And if you want to send me an email, I can pick it up from there. But yeah, for next week, you should totally send me a picture of this list. This is a fun list, but also I did see the Combat Patrol box, Lieutenant Mama Gorillas, and I'm really disappointed about it. I shouldn't be disappointed because it means I'm not going to spend the money, right? Like, I think the box is going to be $85, and if the box was good, I would have spent the $85. But the box is not particularly good. I mean, like, I feel like their marketing guys maybe don't know Blood Angels or something, because we just get a regular squad of intercessors. Why is it not assault intercessors? We get an impulsor and aggressors. Well, aggressors can't even go in the impulsor, right, because they're Gravics. Aggressors also did just take like a pretty hefty nerf. I am not running aggressors anymore. I have 6 of them fully painted, and like I like running my armies when they're fully painted. But Terminators just seem so much better now. And I did a comparison video like a few weeks ago where we fought the Terminators against the aggressors, right? And the Terminators came out on top in just a straight out fist fight. And the Terminators also can deep strike, and they all can also relocate. And they're also like just more survivable, I guess, because of the storm shields. And Lightning Claws got like a huge buff. When I fought them against each other, I don't know if I even tested. No, I just fought Terminators with Storm Bolters. So Lightning Claw Terminators got a huge buff as well. So I'm struggling to see. So yeah, I mean, I guess the new Combat Patrol box is out. I don't know if I'm buying it. Was it Heavy Intercessors? I don't think it was, man. I did see a picture of it. I mean, I can probably get the picture of it up. I feel like it wasn't Heavy Intercessors. I feel like it was just a regular squad of Intercessors. If it's heavy, then maybe I'm interested, just because we don't have heavy anymore. 1 second. Nah, it's just regular intercessors, because if this was a heavy intercessor, then heavy intercessors don't have any options to take bolt pistols and chainswords. So this is just a regular intercessor squad. I mean, I guess it kind of looks, because they're far away and you can't really see them 100%, maybe you could easily get confused. Like, when I was looking at them for a second, I was like, is that heavy? But it's not. These are just regular intercessors. And then, like, this is a really strange choice, right? Like, a Primaris Librarian. Who fields this guy in a Blood Angels army, right? Like, I have one. But, like, he gets fielded, like, once in a blue moon if I'm trying something different and I don't have Mephiston or a Librarian Dread, right? Like, it's so rare and infrequent. So it's just like, I should be happy, because it's basically by making this box not very good, they've just say that, you know, I'm not going to buy it anymore. So, okay, let me look at this list then. So, total is then what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Dreadnoughts, a Tech Marine, and 4 drop pods. It's going to be dead easy for you to score with Linebreaker in this, right? Like, you're just going to drop the drop pods into their deployment zone, and you're going to score 4 points every turn from Linebreaker, no problems at all. You'll probably max your Linebreaker points. Let me bring up our score sheet, where it was here. So, I feel like you're going to get crucified. So, OBSEC, well, you've got no OBSEC units, and I feel like most of these dreads are going to want to be in close combat, so I guess, like, I feel a bit harsh. Do you know what? Let's say you get a 2 for OBSEC. Anti-infantry, anti-horde. You don't actually have that much anti-infantry stuff around. I mean, I guess it depends on what's in what weapons are in those drop pods. And I mean, all the dreadnoughts do kill infantry, but none of them excel at it. So I guess let's say a 3 anti-vehicle. Yeah, I mean, I think you've got this covered. You've got like 7 dreadnoughts, all with power fists and stuff. So I guess for vehicles, we can get like a 5 for a score. Mobility, I guess, is kind of lower. I mean, the drop pods would offset your mobility problems, and I guess you could use. Do you know what? You could drop some of the drop pods, or you could drop a drop pod on an objective, and then have it shoot every turn and just be a pain in the nuisance. So do you know what? It's almost like you could get 2.5 for OBSEC, and do you know what? We'll give you a. Yeah, do you know what? We'll go like 2.5 in OBSEC, and we'll go 3.5 with mobility, right? Like the drop pods are just keeping you in there. And then specialization, right? Like this list is crazy specialized. So I guess like it's a 1. Like it's if I maybe a 1.5, right? So the score for this list, while I like the list, I think it would be a really fun list to play. I'm not sure it's super feasible. If anyone else has a score for PED's list, then please put it in chat and we'll average it up and add. I think 16.5 out of 25. Alright, you gave it a 13. You gave your own list a 13 out of 25. Okay. Anyone else have a score for him? And while for a minute, I'll catch up on chat. So, yeah, Bob, the box looks. It does look shit. Hopefully in the future, if this channel grows bigger, maybe GW would send me an email asking me what would be in the Space Marine, what would be in the Blood Angels box for Christmas, and we could have a live stream where we vote on things. That would be super cool, right? Because I feel like we could come up with a better option for what's in the Christmas box. And why would they not want a better option, right? Because it'll sell more. So that's something. Alright, so you give the Vox the Spiritum to the Primaris Tech Marine to increase the Warden bubble. I did not realise that Warden bubble could be increased. This one, is it? While a Dreadnought is within 6, add 1 to its characteristics for strength and attack. So it's really just 1 attack. How much does that increase the bubble by Highland? Alright, so you've got Kale. Kale Lado is giving you 17, and Adam is giving you 17 because he loves dreadnoughts. Okay, so yeah, I guess like 16, 17 seems to be that's a fun list. I like getting lists that are fun. So thank you for sending that in. It makes the stream a bit more exciting sometimes to get these lists. All right, next up. Okay. I'd love it if you could review my list so I can get some feedback and insights. Cool, we will review your list. I've been into Warhammer for a year and have only played a couple of games. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the bloody pandemic for you, so we're all dealing with that. Your YouTube channel has been a great source of learning since I joined. My list is inspired by your videos. Okay, so hopefully it's a good list if it's inspired by my videos. If it's a bad list, then he hasn't been he's been confusing me with someone else. You can call me Anne or Bill. We'll go with Bill, just because I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that as well. Thanks in advance. By the blood army made. Yes, I love that quote. It's from the Devastation of Baal book, right? And they say it all the time, like, by the blood are we made. Right after they, like, kill some Tyranids. So that's why I picked it. I thought it was cool. I kind of want to do one of those videos, you see on the other channels where they always have, like, their dark... what would you call it? Like, their dark future voice, where they're like, in the grim darkness of the far future. I'll do that at some point. I'm thinking I haven't got around to it yet, but I kind of want to do it. Did you see if this is a battalion? Yeah, sorry, I'm completely blanking on battalion. Right. All right, so you can get a 9-inch aura on the Dreadnought. Yeah, I mean, do you know, Ped, this is one of those lists where you probably wipe out your opponent, right? Like, you probably table them, but you potentially score half the points they did. So, yeah, I would like to see some real lists for you because I think you've got a lot of interesting insights. If there's time at the end of the stream, like I'm conscious of how much time I have today, but if there's time at the end, I'll show you my list that I'm going to run tomorrow really quickly. So, and I think just for future, so anyone joining the stream now, for future, if you want your list reviewed, then you need to go onto the Blood Angels Commander YouTube page and hit the discussion tab, post your list. Where the hell did the discussion tab just go? Oh, it's maybe just changed to community. Oh, right. So I did know my channel was going to get upgraded. I guess that's cool that happened right now. Your channel changes when you get above 1,000 subscribers. So I guess what will happen now, the community tab is where we're going to put it. I will put up a post each week because I guess I can put up a post asking for list submissions. So have your list ready. When I put up the post, the first 4 people that put them up, because I think 4 is about as many as I can do in 2 hours, takes about half an hour list, and then I blabber a lot. So, yeah, I'll put up a post asking for list submissions, so you can be ready. You'll see it in your timeline if you're subscribed, and then we can look at your lists that way. Right, so Bill's list. He starts with Dante. I love it. Yes, Dante is in my list right now. He has got a lot better, but I'm not sure he needs to be the Warlord. And actually, Bill, you're using... He doesn't have Heroic Bearing as his Warlord trait, so your points cost might be out a little bit because it looks like you are still running 8th edition stuff here. That's fine. We can make the list and we'll talk about it a little bit. So obviously, like, Heroic Bearing is not his Warlord trait now. It's Speed of the Primarch. For the Librarian Dreadnought, these powers, I guess, are no longer valid. Quickening, Shield of Sanguinius, Wings of Sanguinius. These are all good powers for the Librarian Dreadnought. I mean, these are probably the 3 I would pick, but right now we're stuck using the Space Marine Codex. So you can see here there's different powers. I guess if you this list comes out of Battle Scribe. So if you upgrade your Battle Scribe, you will see the right powers. And this guy has a Meltagun, which I like. The Primaris Chaplain on a bike. This guy is a beast. I haven't got one yet. I was thinking of converting one just because I don't particularly rate Outriders all that well. We talked about Outriders last week, how they only get 10 attacks after the Thunderous Charge wears off, and they've only got chainswords. So maybe I'll use some of the extra Outriders that I have from Indomitus to convert the Primaris Chaplain. Yeah, I mean, Recantation of Focus and Canticle of Hate seem like the obvious ones. Canticle of Hate for the charge distance. Recantation helps with a bit of shooting. You made a Master of Sanctity, which I haven't actually done yet on a Chaplain. And from that you've made him a Hero of the Chapter, which I guess Battlescribe doesn't have sorted out yet. And then you get the special Wise Orator. I don't know what this does. Each time your Warlord recites Litany, oh yeah, adds 1 to the roll. So your litanies go off on 2s. I think by making him the Master of Sanctity, you get to cast an extra litany a turn, so it's 2 litanies per turn. I have it right here. Let's just double check. So this model is 1 additional litany. In the command phase, this model is battlefield. You can recite 1 additional. So you get to cast 2 litanies, and they both go off in 2s. So I mean, that's pretty cool, right? I maybe got myself something just this week to do the exact same thing with. I don't know who got Terminator Chaplain Tartarus. Give me a shout out if you did. I haven't made this one yet, but that will be next on the to-do list. Okay. So interesting start, right? Like, all 3 of these are strong. Quite a lot of points, I guess, but strong picks. Let's move on to troops. We have 2 Assault Intercessor squads. Oh, shit. Added heavy Intercessor, sorry. 2 Assault Intercessor squads. And it's lagging, so it's added to 2, 3 again. Right, start again. 2 assault intercessor squads, an intercessor squad, and a heavy intercessor squad. Yeah, so I think the heavy intercessor squads are going to be great. I can't wait for them to go on sale. I'm definitely going to get one. I think for holding a backfield objective, they're as strong, if not maybe a little bit stronger than infiltrators, just because they're really hard to shift. What with the 3 wounds and toughness 5 each, and then against 1 damage weapons, you can pay 1 CP to upgrade their armor save to 2+. And if you deploy them somewhere in cover, then you're potentially looking at a 1+. So they can be really strong for backfield objectives. Do you know what? That's a great saying, Ped. Hit subscribe or fall prey to the Black Rage. I guess it is a Primaris chaplain on an Outrider, yeah? And he's 7 wounds, I guess, and toughness 5. So, and he moves, I think it's 14, so he should be able to keep up with any of our jump pack troops, like just navigating around terrain on the bikes. So, Primaris chaplain could be pretty interesting, right? Especially if you can upgrade him now. He can also take a relic. I think it's this Figure of Death relic, which makes his Crozius even better as well. Yeah, and then if he hits people with this Crozius, they get -2 to the leadership. So that could be useful, I guess. In terms of elites, we have a Judicar. So I kind of love the Judicar. I haven't fielded him since they nerfed his range on his Temper Mortis from 6 inches to 3. I still think he could be useful. It just doesn't quite fit in the list that I'm running at the moment. Sanguinary Ancient. I think the Sanguinary Ancient is overcosted at the moment at 125 points. This list is old, I guess, right? So it's a little bit wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 Sanguinary Guard. And then we have 2 squads of Outriders and 2 Impulsors. Okay, so what we'll do is the list will be a little bit wrong because fast attackers, Outriders, because the point costs have changed. Impulsors have gone up in points as well from this as well, I believe. Especially Shield Dome ones. Or maybe not. Very similar. Alright, so the point cost on this list will be slightly skewed. Just because 9th edition changes, and this list has been made in 8th edition Battlescribe. But maybe we can have a look at it and just go over the categories and see what people think. So I guess our categories are OBSEC, infantry, vehicle. I mean, these are like anti-infantry, anti-vehicle, mobility, and then finally specialization. Okay. I like having 4 troop choices personally. I always take 3 or 4. They're good for holding your own objectives. I mean, sometimes in 9th edition you have battlefields with 6 objectives, right? So if you have 6, you're going to need at least 3 troops choices to hold. I mean, sometimes I even end up having an assault intercessor squad stay and hold an objective just because those objectives are worth so many victory points. The Sanguinary Guard and the Ancient and Dante together, I mean, you can't really fault that, right? Like, I guess, because this is an 8th edition list, the Standard of Sacrifice, this is perfect, but in 9th edition, we kind of have to play a little bit around in that if you want a Feel No Pain on these guys at the moment, you need to take a Sanguinary Priest. If we get Standard of Sacrifice back, or if we get a buff to the Priest, then things may be very different, and we will know about that in a month. And if you keep tuning into the channel, the second I get that book, we will go over it for sure. And then the Outriders, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people run Outriders. I keep seeing them come up. I mean, these 2 squads of Outriders are 270 points, right? Like, if you compare that, you could have a 10-man Death Company with 2 Power Fists in it. Each Death Company model gets 6 attacks. Or is it the Death Company of 2 plus 1 for the Chainsword, plus 1 for charging, plus 1 for the Black Rage, so it's 5 attacks and then 6 attacks from the Savage Echoes. So each Death Company model gets 5 or 6 attacks. If you put 2 Power Fists into the Death Company, that would be 270 points with jump packs. So the guys with Power Fists get 4 attacks. So these Outriders on the charge turn. Do you know what? We'll just look. Let me just bring up Outriders, because Outriders come up every week. I really need to make sure that I'm explaining why I don't like Outriders right. So the regular guys only get 2 attacks. The sergeant only gets 3. So you're talking squad of 3 guys. You get 10 attacks. Sure, on the turn you charge, you get an additional 2 per model, so that's 16. But it's only 16 chainsword attacks, right? For 135 points. 2 Death Company guys, or 3 Death Company guys for 75 points. So basically half the points get more chainsword attacks than that. Yes, the toughness 5 is nice, but if you can... So 6 Outriders would be 6 guys, 4 wounds, 24 wounds. So yeah, I mean, your Death Company would be a little bit weaker, right? Like 10 of them would only be 20 wounds, and the toughness 5 does have a thing. Death Company do get 6 plus feel no pain, so when you average it out, the Outriders are a little bit more survivable, right? But like the Outriders are going to have half the attacks the Death Company get. What was it? They get 16, so 2 squads of them are going to get 32 attacks. Bear in mind, if they go through the first turn, then they drop to 20 attacks. So if the Outriders don't kill whatever they need to kill, or they get locked up with something that they're not going to kill, like a vehicle or something, their attacks just plummet, and like it's almost like an alpha strike, right? They're good on that charge, but then after that, it just drops off. So, I mean, run at your own risk, I guess. I ran Outriders 2 or 3 times at the start of 9th edition. I was never impressed with what they managed to do, so I just don't run them anymore. Where I am personally is I'm running Sanguinary Guard, I'm running Death Company, I'm running Terminators with Thunderhammers or Claws. They seem to be the strongest option. The reason I'm running Terminators is, my goodness, they are survivable now, especially with a medic. So consider that. Let me catch up on chat and then we'll score this list. Yeah, they nerfed Temporal Mortars to 3 inches. Shield on Impulsor is down a little bit. Yes, Adam. Sanguinary Ancient's supposed to be 90. Yeah, I mean, he's moved up to like 100. Oh, you're in the chat, Bill. Hello. Yeah, Sanguinary Ancient's actually moved up to like 125 points. He's a lot of points right now, and the banner he gives is not really that great. So it's questionable if you want to actually include him. I've included him in my list, but I've only included him because I needed some sort of character to carry the Icon of the Angel. Apart from that, he's doing nothing else. He's just deep striking with the Terminators and carrying the Icon of the Angel. Maybe it might be a better option to make this new Terminator that I've got, and then just pay some extra CP to take another detachment. Random question on Biomatrix Sarcophagus. Would they extend range from the aura effects of spells like Psychic Fortress? Right. Merch. Biomantic fuck's sake, speak this properly. Biomantic Sarcophagus. I think it's when I try and read that word it confuses me. Biomantic Sarcophagus improves the range of casts by your Psyker. It doesn't improve the range of auras. So Psychic Fortress is still 6-inch range, even if it's cast by Librarian Dreadnought. Yeah, I mean, an assassin is an option, right? Like every Space Marine army can take an assassin. So I guess it depends on where your Judicar is. Like, I guess in this list, the Judicar is inside the Impulsor with a squad of assault intercessors. I mean, that could be decent, right? The only thing I would say with that is, if the Judicar, like, if you're going to do that, you need to have some sort of heavy weapon on the assault intercessors, right? Like, so that they can engage any target, right? You don't want to be in a position where you have to charge something big with them and all they've got is chain swords, right? Like, that's why it's good to put like a special weapon on a sergeant. And I guess like that's why in my Death Company I like to run at least a Power Fist or a Thunderhammer or an Infernal Pistol. Just something that if you end up in a situation on the board, because you can't always pick, that you need to kill something big with the squad, you don't want to only have chain swords to try and do that, right? Yeah, I mean, people can make Outriders work, but I agree there's better use for the points, Ped. don't forget, Outriders are also equipped with twin bolt rifles. Yeah, I mean, Outriders do have the twin bolt rifles. I mean, what is that? Like, rapid fire 2? So it's like each Outrider gets 4 shots. So 12 bolter shots. I mean, it's going to do something, right? Like, so what is that? Hitting on 3s. So you basically hit with 8 bolters. I guess if you're using your Outriders to try and kill infantry, it's probably okay. I just prefer, I think, the Death Company for that purpose. Also, the one other issue I had with Outriders is they have very big bases. You know, like if you're trying to pile in, you can have problems with that as well. The bases are surprisingly large for those Outrider units. Michael, the Ancient is not worth it as is. Yeah, I mean, he's really highly... I think the reason they put the Ancient up to so many points, right, is like we must be getting some sort of relic that this Ancient can carry. Otherwise, why is he so many points? Because otherwise he's just going to not ever be taken, right? Because they changed the spanner. So the spanner on the Ancient used to be amazing, right? It used to be reroll 1s of wounds. Now it's like +1 to leadership, and when you die on a 4+, you can do 1 final attack. I mean, it's very useless. I actually had 5 Vanguard veterans die in combat against Mortarion right next to this banner bearer, and on a 4+, they could get to do 1 final attack, and I got single 4. You know, it's like, wow, 1 final attack. Like, compared to the ones on reroll wounds, it's ugly right now. Jacob, 120 points is really bad. I've only realised last game the +1 to hit for Sanguinary Guard is shooting as well. Yeah, it is, Rob. That's why the +1 to hit for Sanguinary Guard, if you give them some Infernal Pistols, is really interesting, right? Especially if your Sanguinary Guard are really up close and you're going to do 2 damage. So, OBSEC, I mean, you've got 4 troops. So I guess your OBSEC is fairly decent. You do have Assault Intercessors, so you can push them towards enemy objectives and take them. As far as holding objectives in your own deployment zone, I mean, once your Impulsors dropped off some troops, it could easily go back, or it could go hold an objective or contest an objective. So I guess probably say like your OBSEC's fairly high, 4. How are you going to deal with infantry in this list? Well, I mean, I guess Outriders could deal with infantry, Assault Intercessors can deal with infantry. I guess your Heavy Executioner Rifles can deal with some infantry as well. So I think infantry-wise, you're pretty covered. I'd say like it's a 4. Maybe you just, if you want that to be higher, maybe you need to throw in like some twin assault cannons or something like that. Vehicles. This list's going to struggle a little bit against vehicles, right? Like you maybe have like Dante and the Sanguinary Guard that could take out a vehicle, but I mean, if they're taking out a Dreadnought or something, they're always going to take some wounds back, and then the Dreadnought's potentially going to explode or something. So I guess your vehicles, and there's no heavy firepower in this list at all, so I guess like vehicle is maybe going to be a 3.5. Mobility, Outriders, Sanguinary Guard, Assault Intercessors maybe. Mobility I think is very solid. And then, is it specialised? Like, do you have too many of one type of unit? No, I think it's fairly balanced. I just think you need to... If you were going to drop something, I guess I would maybe drop 1 Impulsor and the Outriders, take a Death Company, and maybe take some sort of small... Maybe take a Dreadnought, like a Redemptor or something that can dish out a bit of fire. I guess the Redemptor's probably a really good option now in that he's 175 points. Or... maybe a Contemptor with like a Multi-Melta. I guess that's got like a reasonable buff, right? The Multi-Melta has 2 shots now, and that Contemptor with a Claw, and the Contemptor has a 5+ invulnerable save. Maybe you could take that. So maybe like specialised. I think it isn't specialised, but I don't think you have a crazy good score for that either. So do you know what? That's maybe coming in a little bit harsher than I planned. If my math is correct, 4 is 12 plus 6.5, 18.25. Yeah, guys, if you want to give Bill a score on his list, please type it into the chat now, and maybe if you could just give him a comment on why you've scored him the way that you've scored him. Bear in mind that his list is a little bit outdated in that he built it in 8th edition, but If I'd realised that before, Bill, I would have actually asked you to resubmit it, but because I didn't. But what you can do is, I guess get your list ready for the future and be ready for one of my next community posts, and you can give me another list, maybe get your points up a little bit. Okay, what else is going on? The banner used to have both reroll 1s in combat and still had the +1 leadership. Yeah, the banner is really hurting right now. Do you know what? The one thing that's got me thinking that the banner is going to still get improved, though, right, for Blood Angels is, let me show you this. In the book here, when it talks about chapter command, right, because every chapter now can take like a chapter ancient, and the ancient actually gets like an ability where if you take the chapter banner, in your command phase, select one friendly core unit within 6. This unit can add 1 to the unit's attack hits, right? Is that on the Sanguinary Guard page? Sorry, no, Sanguinary Ancient. I don't think that's on there, right? Oh no, it is. Yeah, so chapter banner. My bad. But there's a specific warlord trait you can take for the banner bearer that makes people obsec around him. I guess that's very similar to Rites of War, so I don't really know why you would take that rather than just take Rites of War. But there's also a relic. Each time a friendly model is destroyed, it makes an attack. This model can make 2 attacks with one of its melee weapons instead of 1. I guess that's interesting. But the thing that makes me think that they're going to change that is over here on this page, it specifically says a Blood Angel's Ancient cannot be upgraded to a Chapter Ancient. So why have they specifically stopped us picking the Chapter Ancient rule, which only costs 20 points, I guess? Why have they specifically stopped us picking that rule when, like, our army has always been about having, like, a banner bearer, an ancient, unless there's something coming for us? That's what I really think. I feel like something is coming for us in our new supplement. They just haven't told us yet. All right, cool. Ped gave you... thank you for giving scores on everything, guys. And Smithel gave you 6 out of 10. So I guess when that translates to out of 25 times 2.5, that would actually only be like 15 out of 25. Smithel, that's pretty harsh. But okay. I guess maybe he's poking up that you're struggling with anti-infantry. And then Adam gave you 18.5. I really appreciate you guys throwing out some scores in the chat, because then... yeah, Smithel, that's what they're going to do. They're going to make the Sanguinary Ancient OP. We just have to wait a month to get it. And then he'll be back in every list. Do you know what? You know this speech, like, I had a dream that the Sanguinary Ancient's Standard of Sacrifice has been upgraded due to our victory on the Baal system, and it is now a 4+ feel no pain. I mean, we can dream, right? Like, that would be the absolute. That's what I want. If you could give me no other rule in the Space Marine Codex. The Blood Angel supplement, and that would make me happy. Thank you for tuning in, Mark. I really appreciate that, and I think we have one list left to look at. I hope that helps you out a little bit, Bill. If you want me to send any of the feedback, then I can. And then I think the last list was Omen. So you didn't say if it's a battalion or a battalion or a detachment, but it looks like it's a battalion. So did that not work? No, we're like that. Okay, so another battalion. Here we go, final list of the day, and then if there's time, I will quickly show you my list that I have planned for tomorrow to take on a group of Eldar. So again, Dante, and this is going to be the core of our list right now with a bunch of lists, isn't it? It's going to be Dante, the Sanguinary Priest, upgraded to the Chief Apothecary, and then the Warlord trait, Selfless Healer. Like, it's just so good. I feel like it's going to get nerfed, but it's good right now. Then, I guess for backfield holding, he has a Heavy Intercessor squad, 2 Assault Intercessor squads. I guess they can push forward or they can hold, whatever we need them to do. 2 Impulsors. Not sure about the Impulsor spam anymore. I guess now that they've lost the fly keyword as well, makes manoeuvring them a bit difficult. And then we have a Redemptor Dreadnought. This one has the Gatling Cannon. And the Onslaught Cannon makes sense. And I don't think there's any difference between the cost of the Frag Storm and the Storm Bolters now. So that's fine. Actually, we've got 2 Redemptors. Both with the same loadout. I would have probably put one with a Macro Plasma just because it would let you... it would give you some sort of like anti-armor, right? And the Macro Plasma got buffed, so on high power, it's now 3 damage a hit. And this guy is core, so you can pay 1 CP for Windsors of the Ancient and get to reroll your 1s, so that you kind of... Just if you don't know the odds for rolling 1 twice in a row, it's like a 1 in 36 chance. So, for paying the 1 CP, it should be fairly reliable to shoot this, right? And then potentially 3 damage a hit, minus 4 or 9 strength. It's going to wound and kill most things. Then we have a squad of Assault Terminators with Thunderhammers. I love it. I haven't seen, that's not the right thing, Terminators with the Thunderhammers. I am now running Terminators with Thunderhammers. I'm going to run them again tomorrow. Terminators with Thunderhammers combo really well with that priest that brings them back, right? Because Terminators and Thunderhammers are like the most expensive unit we can get, right? 43 points per model. You can bring one back every turn. So, as long as you position your priest so like he can't be charged or he can't be shot, and if he's around a squad of Terminators then he can't be shot anyway, as long as you position your priest that he can bring one back every turn, that's literally over 4 turns, or sorry, yeah, over 5 turns I guess, or you maybe deep strike these guys in turn 2, so over 4 turns, you're bringing like 175 points of additional Terminators back onto the battlefield, and you're healing them, and they're, they've got 1+ save, because the Storm Shield increases their 2+ save to 1+ save. So like minus 2 AP, minus 1 AP, they still save on 2s. I think I'm running this. I think it's really nice and it's really strong. And then 2 squads of 8 Sanguinary Guard. I mean, a lot of the lists I look at have multiple squads of like 8 Sanguinary Guard. I think that's fine, but in some ways I also think it's situational, right? Like, Sanguinary Guard have no invulnerable saves. Just like 2 weeks ago I played against I guess it was a Nurgle army. There was like a mix of like, it was a mix of Death Guard and Nurgle, right? And like they had one character, Typhus, I think his name was. I think it was Typhus, right? Typhus. Yeah, I looked him up, right? So like, I got in combat with this Typhus guy with my Sanguinary Guard, and they didn't kill him. I think they left him on 1 wound because he had like disgustingly resilient, which means like they have a 5+ feel no pain, right? So this guy was left on 1 wound, so he attacked me back with like, I feel like it was more than 4 attacks. I think it was 5 attacks. I guess because he got charged, he gets the +1 like a Space Marine. So he attacked me back with 5 attacks with this Monster-crafted Man Reaper on my Sanguinary Guard. So it's a strength 7, it's minus 3 AP, and it's 3 damage. So it was basically like the Sanguinary Guard were only going to save on 5s, and each fail is going to kill a single model, and then it's plagued weapons, so he gets to reroll 1s for his wounds, and he's already wounding on 3s. So what actually happened was Sanguinary Guard charged this guy, put him down on 1 wound. I think it was 5 Sanguinary Guard, so I was like fairly confident that they were going to kill him. But I mean, I guess the disgustingly resilience came in, and then he attacked back, 5 hits, 5 wounds, and of course I didn't roll a single 5, so I just instantly lost 5 Sanguinary Guard to this guy in 1 turn. And those Sanguinary Guard are like 30 points plus per model, so 150 points. Yeah, I mean, the no invulnerable save on the Sanguinary Guard is what gets them killed, right? Like, you never want to reliably be saving on 5s or 6s. So, I guess I'm going to catch up on the chat and then we'll think about how we're going to score this list. Oh, Bill, you're very welcome for the feedback. I hope it helps you. Board control in ninth. Of course, wiping out the enemy takes care of that, but yeah, I mean board control is like super important in ninth edition. I want to say like typically I'm quite strategic when it comes to like making the right calls in the battlefield to have more units alive at the end of the game than the enemy. However, I've lost quite a few games. I want to say it's like 50-50. Like often at the end of the game I'll have like 200-300 more points worth of units left on the table than my enemy. I'll feel good about that, but then I'll lose by 10 VP just because like board control. What I've learned in ninth is sometimes it can be worth like just having a unit that will like deep strike and like it doesn't matter if they die as long as they take your opponent off an objective for one turn and it takes them a turn to get back there. The swing that can cause, like a 10-15 VP swing, just by doing that once, can be huge. So it's why like I started deep striking like Terminators with Lightning Claws, for example, with the goal of just charging in and just cleaning my opponent off an objective, like taking out his troops. Lightning Claws obviously got buffed a lot. This list builder is called Battle Scribe. It's very easy to set up. It's been around for a while, Leon. Totally recommend it. They don't always update it straight away. Like, I think there's still some problems with some of the point costs, and you can't make certain units hero of the chapters, you can't pick certain things yet, but they do get it up to date, usually within sort of like a month of the books coming out or something. Yeah, I mean, -3 on Sanguinary Guard is still 5+. Just the 3 damage from the Death Guard really brutalized me because I had no, in the olden days, my Sanguinary Guard were near the Banner Bearer, so I would have been able to 5+ on all 15 wounds. Now we don't get that, so they just died. So that's why I guess the Sanguinary Priest has been so common. But the fact he's only a 6+, I'm kind of confused. Maybe they'll give the Sanguinary Priest a relic that lets him go to like a 5+, and then maybe they'll change our banner to be something more offensive or something like that. All right, so Ped has given you a really high score for this. Good. I'm going to have a look. So we're going to look at OBSEC. We're going to look at infantry, armor. I will get this sort of like the scoring system reworked a little bit for next week so it's better. Mobility, and last but not least is specialised. And I just want to say thank you to Ped because it was him that was helping me work this out. So, and I appreciate you being in the chat today, Ped, as well, because I feel like sometimes when I get into all the rules and stuff, guys, it's really hard for me to be talking about rules and strategy and keep up with the chat. And some of you guys, like Smithel, Ped, Red Blade, I think, Adam, Highland Phoenix, all you guys who are here every week and ask questions and answer questions in the chat, I really appreciate it. I've never set my chat up to have moderators or anything like that yet, and I guess we don't need to do that, but maybe in the future, if any of you guys are interested in that, that would totally be an option. Like I said, we just passed 1,000, so that's super cool, and I was waiting, so like now I can post community updates, I guess. If I post community update, apparently it appears in you guys' timeline, so like I guess when the new books come out or when there's new live streams out, I will do that as well. And I actually had let's finish this list and then we'll chat a bit more informally. So objectives skewered, heavy intercessors to hold the backfield, impulsors to get your guys to need to be where they go, assault intercessors potentially challenge enemy objectives, assault terminators to, I guess they're probably going to be anti-armor. Sanguinary Guard can come down and they can clear armor, or I love this, 2 Power Fists and 2 Infernal Pistols in each one. And I guess kill your sword guys first. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I love having, for 10 points, the Infernal Pistols are so strong. being that if they're near your warlord, which I imagine you would have them next to your warlord, then you'll be hitting on 2s. That's potentially 16 damage right there. So anti-armor, if you can get those guys dropped down in the right place, that's great. The Redemptors, I like most of this. I just think one macro cannon might be interesting. Bear in mind, if you put this Redemptor next to the other one, and then you pay the 1 CP for Wisdom of the Ancient on the one, because the other ones are core, he'll get to reroll his ones on shooting as well. So you could almost get like double value out of that. I guess on first turn, if you deploy them near your heavy intercessors as well, then you could move forward, and you could maybe have one dreadnought just move forward 2 inches less, so you can be in range of your heavies. The other dreadnought, and you could get the reroll ones on everything for 1 CP in the shooting phase. That's kind of nice. So OBSEC, I think you're in pretty good shape here. I think it's going to be like a 4. It's a pity that you don't have one other elite unit choice or one other HQ unit that you could give the Rights of War trait to. If you had that, then maybe. Do you know what? Yeah, anti-infantry. I mean, your 2 Redemptors are going to do that. Your heavy intercessors, your assault intercessors, they're all going to be able to do infantry fairly well. I think I'd rate your infantry 4.5. Your armor, going to rate it a little bit lower. The Sanguinary Guard can do it, and the Terminators can do it. I would like to see that macro cannon, but yeah, do you know what? It's possibly a 4.5. It's pretty high up there. And then mobility, I don't think there's any issues with mobility in this list, right? Like 2 Impulsors to get your assault guys around. The Redemptors move 8, I think. The Assault Terminators with the Homer, that makes them as maneuverable as they can be. And the Guard, and all these guys have jump packs. I think your mobility is pretty much 5. And then specialised, I don't think anything in this list is too specialised. Pedrog just updated to 23 out of 25, so Omen, you've nailed this list, and I don't think that you have too much problems at all with specialised, so yeah, I think I want to say like 4.5. I mean, this actually gives you a crazy high score. It would give you 8, 13 plus 9, 22 out of 25. Maybe if you change that one cannon out, I would have given you like 20. I would have probably put that to like that. But I mean, it also depends on the meta, right? Like, if you bring 30, if I bring 30 Sanguinary Guard with axes, do I get 25 out of 25? No, is the answer. Take a Primaris Tech Marine with the Forge Warden of the Ancient and the Voxa Spirit, and to put Awaken of the Machine Spirits and one of the Redemptors. Yeah, Primaris Tech Marines are pretty cheap these days, right? Like, they're just 80 points. I guess it depends if you really need 2 Impulsors, right? Like, what's in the Impulsors? You can only put the Assault Intercessors in one. I'd just make one set of Assault Intercessors slog away on foot and put and drop one of the Impulsors. With the exception of EG Commanders and Storm Shields, oh yeah, we read that. I heard, not sure if true, Death Guard will lose the 5+ Feel No Pain for basically Duty Eternal on all models. Yeah, I don't know. The 5+ Feel No Pain on Death Guard is a bit... Especially like if you look at Mortarion with his 18 wounds and his toughness 7 and he doesn't get profiled. Like, that guy's just a nightmare with disgustingly resilient. Like, I guess because that's he basically has 26 wounds and he just goes around killing everything. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad to be at 1,000. 30 Death Company with axes would be more likely. I remember when there was no Sanguinary Guard or Honor Guard. Yes. Do you remember the first box of Honor Guard that came out that was just like, they were basically just an assault squad, I think, with Honor Guard and maybe like a banner? Yeah, I'd probably split your weapons on the Sanguinary Guard if you can. So it's like the model that has the Power Fist doesn't have the Infernal Pistol, but then it doesn't really matter, right? Because like, let's say you had 2 models with Power Fists and Infernal Pistols. The other 6 would just be the first ones to die, right? Like, you just put the wounds where you want them to go, right? So, I think in my list, I think I do have one that has a Power Fist and Infernal Pistol, and I think I've got like a few Power Fists and then a few axes with Infernal Pistols. So, don't think there's really a wrong choice there, Leon. Oh yeah, 3 auto heal wounds each turn for the Dreadnought 2, yep. And you could reserve 1 squad of Assault Intercessors. Yeah, you could definitely do that. So yeah, this is a really solid list. I like it a lot. Tiny little bit more of heavy firepower. Maybe you can drop this Impulsor. Or maybe you could take some of those missile launchers on the Impulsors. Find 20 points elsewhere, drop a Sanguinary Guard. Maybe just so you've got a little bit more shooting, and then I would be really happy with this list. Okay. Yeah, so I guess thank you so much to everybody that did. There was just the 2 scores before I close this down, right? Did anyone else give him a score? Smithall gave you 20. Ped gave you 23. Does anybody else want to give Omen a score before I close up this section of the stream? Yeah, the community tab won't let you send a list yet because it just came unlocked like while I'm on the stream, so I actually don't really even know fully how it works. I've been reading about it. Apparently, once you had 1,000, you got a community tab, but it didn't tell me when that I was getting it. I thought I actually maybe had to do something else. So I think the idea is that I can post now here, and you guys will see this. Like if you scroll through YouTube on your phone, or you'll scroll. I don't know how it works on the PC, but I know if you're scrolling through on your phone, you'll see a post from me saying, "Hey, I'm looking for list submissions for this week," and then I don't know. I just stream on YouTube at the moment, I guess. I did try streaming on Twitch before, but like no one was watching. So yeah, I think this is the best list of the day. So that is cool. Right. So I think what we'll do now is I think I have like 10 minutes. So I'll quickly show you my list for my game against Eldar tomorrow, and you guys can, I guess, you guys in the chat can score it. So probably a little bit nervous about that, but here we go. Hopefully it's just here. Yes. Oh yeah, someone was asking me last week, I guess it was maybe Echo, would you like me to create a group on Facebook called the Blood Angels Commander? It seems a little bit vain or a little bit like I don't know. Like, I know I should probably have a Facebook page. I haven't made one yet. I know I should probably have like a Twitter or something. I'm not really like a huge social media person. But if I made a Facebook group called Blood Angels Commander, like, would any of you guys actually want to join that? Do you think you would get value about just being able to chat with, I guess, some of the people that are here in the chat? They're always helping out and other stuff like that. Like, would that be of interest? Thank you very much, Redblade. That's very kind of you. Will you make a kill team list at some point? I actually have a kill team for Blood Angels. I mean, I guess like they're just technically a Space Marine kill team list. 5 out of 25 before seeing it. Alright, let me run you through this list. So I'm playing Eldar tomorrow. Do you guys, like, I was going to say, how familiar are you guys with Eldar, I guess? Because I can show you what I'm running up against. And then I'll show you this real quick. Let me see if I can find what I'm running up against. 1 second. I was going to be super prepared for the stream, but you should just, like, life happens. Okay, notepad. this is the Eldar list that I'm running up against tomorrow. So, a Farseer, a Spirit Seer, a Wraith Seer, 9 Dire Avengers with Shuriken Catapults and Plasma Grenades, 5 Rangers, like another 5 Rangers, 10 Wraith Blades with Ghost Axes and Force Shields, 10 Wraith Guard with D Scythes, 5 Wraith Guard with D Scythes. Well, it's 10 because it's 2 squads of 5. I don't know if you guys know what D Scythes are, but they're absolutely disgusting. They're basically strength 10 flamers with -4. And then a Wraith Lord, and then 2 Wave Serpents. So, yeah, and the psychic powers on these guys are like Doom and Guide. So yeah, you're talking about lots of rerolls to hit, lots of rerolls to wound and stuff. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't hate Eldar with a passion? I do not have Discord, but I guess, yeah, been killing Eldar since 1999, love it. So, okay, so some people would consider joining a Facebook group. Okay. Matt, probably the best thing to do is ask a question. I was going to say, yeah, do you know what? Maybe we'll make a Facebook group this week, and do you know what? That's what I'll do. We'll make a Facebook group. I'll post about it in the community chat. You guys can hopefully see it in your timeline on YouTube if you subscribe to me. If you haven't subscribed to me, then please consider doing that. And in the Facebook group, like, I noticed that Matt just came in. We're right at the end of the stream, Matt, and I don't have a lot of time yet, but I would love to answer your question. So in the Facebook group, ask me a question when you join it later tonight or whenever you join it, and I will definitely get back to you. Or, like I said, loads of people in this chat are really, really helpful. So I'm sure other people will help you as well. And thank you. I think it was someone else said congratulations on getting 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so my list for this Eldar battle is Commander Dante. Unfortunately, he isn't the Warlord because we need some other Warlords. We're going to run a Librarian Dreadnought with the Might of Heroes so he can buff his attacks, his strength, his toughness. We're also going to give him Sacred's Fortress so he can give a 5+ invulnerable bubble. He's actually going to have the Meltagun. I don't know why this... Maybe the points aren't right. I'll need... There's not 2 Contemptors in this list. Hold on. I think that's what the problem is. Okay. He's going to have the Meltagun. He's going to have the Biomantic Sarcophagus. And he's also going to have Iron Resolve. So he's basically going to have 9 wounds on a 6+ Field of Pain. We're going to have the Priest, who is going to be running, same as always, Jump Pack, Warlord, Chief Apothecary, so he's going to be Selfless Healer. Hopefully I've selected that. I have not. We'll click it now. Where was it? Selfless Healer. Here we go. So although this is a Warlord, he's actually a hero of the chapter. It just doesn't have it built into Battlescribe yet. So Librarian could be the hero of the chapter, the Priest could be the Warlord, doesn't really matter which way round. So, and the Priest is also going to have the Endarmer Indomitus, so he gets a 2+ save, he gets +1 wound, and no, maybe I should have taken Null Zone, but I'll tell you what I'm doing with this after. So we're running an Infiltrator squad to basically hold the backfield objective, prevent any sort of like deep strikes within 12, because Craft World can deep strike, right? 2 Assault Intercessor squads. 1 will probably inevitably hold an objective, and the other one will push forward. A Contemptor Dreadnought with the Multi-Melta. I just like this guy. I think the Multi-Melta obviously got buffed, so it's 2 shots, and it can do 16 damage in close range. I want him in close anyway, so he's got the Claw. So we're just basically trying to get this Contemptor in close, and 9 wounds due to Eternal, 3+, 5+. He's okay. Death Company, basically, like, this is going to be 5 Death Company, all with chain swords. I think Dante has the wrong costs in Battlescribe yet. I think he's had the wrong cost in Battlescribe for, like, the longest time. Dante's only 170. Oh no, he's 175. Alright, maybe I need to rethink this, but I need to get a heavy weapon into this Death Company. Like I said, at the moment it's just chain swords. So if they run into something that's not going to be killable with chain swords, that's going to be a problem. We're going to have the Sanguinary Ancient. I know he's overcosted, but I guess the reason that we have him is just for Icon of the Angel. Just want to be able to re-roll all my charges when I deep strike, and what I'm deep striking is this, which is 4 Terminators with Thunder Hammers and 4 with Lightning Claws in a single squad. Hey Chris, thank you. That's very kind of you. So an 8-man squad of Terminators, and the idea is to let them reroll their charges. They'll come down with a much smaller 4-man squad of Sanguinary Guard, or the Death Company, and then the healer will be with these guys. So basically, every turn we'll bring one guy back to life. Because it's an 8-man squad, I don't know if he has enough firepower to drop it, right? And I think it's going to cause absolute havoc. I mean, that's the goal behind it. Then we have a Storm Raven, which I haven't run yet in 9th edition, but I know it's bloody expensive, right? 370 points. But I think the Storm Raven is... So probably what's going to deep strike is the Salt Terminators, the Sanguinary Ancient, and the Priest will all come down together. So the Priest and the Salt Terminators will be able to reroll their charges, trying to guarantee they get in. The Sanguinary Ancient's just going to be in there, but it's not really important if he fails his charges. I just want the Priest and the Terminators in. Then inside the Storm Raven, we'll put Dante, the Sanguinary Guard, and the Librarian Dreadnought, right? It'll either be the Librarian or the Contemptor. I'm thinking the Librarian Dreadnought because he's a monster in close combat, and the strength of Librarian Dreadnought before was Wings of Sanguinius, right? Like, we've lost Wings, so because we've lost Wings, I was thinking if we... I'll just deliver him in the Storm Raven, right? The Storm Raven moves 45 inches, so basically in turn 2, when he exits the Storm Raven, he'll be able to move 9, so you disembark 3, then move his 6. So basically, at that point, I'll almost be able to charge anything that I want to, I hope. So we'll have Dante, the Sanguinary Guard, jump out with the Librarian Dreadnought, probably on one side of the board. Meanwhile, all the Terminators will come down on the other side of the board. And, meanwhile, backfield, I may keep the Death Company, basically as a reserve to countercharge something that I need to contest on my side of the board. I guess we'll see how things happen in turn 2. I'm not so worried about what the Death Company do. I think that I'll put them down in turn 3 wherever I feel like I need them the most, and I'll swap some weapon out so that I can get a Power Fist or an Infernal Pistol or something into this Death Company just to make them a little bit more feasible. I would like to get a power weapon into both these squads, but I just don't have the points. I mean, the only thing I could do is maybe drop the Hurricane Bolters off the Storm Raven. The problem is I didn't magnetize those, so I hate playing with models that aren't WYSIWYG. If you don't know what WYSIWYG means, it is what you see is what you get, right? So the model on the tabletop is equipped with the exact ornaments that it has. We'll see. I mean, I could maybe DIY them. I could maybe try and pry them off. I've done that before and then remagnetize them. Do you know what? That is actually quite tempting. I guess we'll see. Do you know what's in the Elder list of the Storm Raven? All that stuff inside, a massive target. Yeah, the Elder list really doesn't have as much shooting as you might think. I don't know if they'd be able to bring down the Storm Raven. That's what I'm counting on. I wouldn't be running the Storm Raven if I thought he could bring it down. Did I had it on my clipboard. Maybe I didn't delete it. So this is the Elder list. Farseer, Spirit Seer, Wraith Seer, Dire Avengers. I mean, they got Shuriken Catapults. I'm not worried about those. The Rangers have pistols. We're not worried about those. The Wraithblades, Ghost Axes. The Death Scythes would be an issue, right? Because they are Strength 10 -4 auto hit. But they only have 8-inch range and those guys only move 5. So as long as I position the Storm Raven 20 inches from these guys, I'm fine. And I feel like I should be able to do that. The Wraith Lord has a scatter laser, but Oh, my Siri's kicking in. Sorry about that. And then the wave serpents just have shuriken cannons, 3 of them, so they're not too much a threat against the Storm Raven, right? Never drop the hurricane bolters. Yeah, well, I mean that's why the hurricane bolters are glued on, I guess. Yeah, I will. Do you know what? I need to go off very, very shortly. But I will definitely get a post up on the community site today. And if you are subscribed, you'll see it in your timeline. Or Sergeant at Creel, so you'll definitely see it. And do you know what? We'll make that Facebook group as well, and then if people have questions, they can ask in the Facebook group, and we can take it from there. So yeah, I think I know what the next tactics video is going to be, guys. But I think this week on Tuesday there's going to be no video. I'm going to try and get ahead on tactics videos because last week I was making the tactics video at like 1 a.m. on Friday, and like there was so much in the tactics video this week that I kind of lost my way a little bit with it. So I think I maybe just need. What I'm going to try and do is make sure the tactics video comes out next week, and then I'll try and have the battle report from Eldar. So the tactics video will come out on Friday normal, and then like the battle report from Eldar will come out next Tuesday, and then get back to live stream after that. So, okay, loads of people stayed for like all the stream today, so that's very cool of you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in again. And yeah, I think every week we'll try and do 4 lists. So if you guys want your lists done, then I guess every week we'll put up a community post asking for list submissions, and I guess the first 4 will get reviewed. I can't do any more than 4 really, just time. So all right, and yeah, thank you so much for everybody hanging out in the chat, and I'll let you know how Sanguinary Priest as a warlord with an invader ATV, Rob. Yeah, let us know how that works. I assume you would want to run. I know at the moment you can revive an invader ATV with full wounds. I feel like that's broken. So use it while you can. And yeah, no, you're very welcome for the help and the tactics. I mean, I think like I'm actually learning a lot with the tactics videos. I think I didn't quite realise all the things the Librarian Dreadnought could do right now, so I think it's really quite interesting. And yeah, I will see you all guys later this week then, and hopefully we can chat more on Facebook, etc. So thank you so much everybody for tuning in today. Hope you all have a great rest of the weekend, and I hope you are staying safe in that, like, I don't know about your guys' country, but our country is this close to going back into like a full lockdown with this pandemic going on. So hopefully everybody's staying as safe as they can. And yeah, I will see you guys all very soon. Have a great weekend. And yeah, keep an eye out for any community posts. And thank you very much again for tuning in. All right. By the blood are we made. Peace.